Brayden, go back in your bed.
Scaring kids. Now, we've been doing this as a society since the dawn of man, because we're assholes, obviously. What have I got? And we've all had our own experiences with scary stories, whether it be a bedtime story or some sort of a campfire story we've told to scare our friends. And the most popular way that these stories are told is in conjunction with some sort of a creature, a demon, entity thing. And as we all know, folklore heavily utilises these creatures to tell its own stories. And throughout history, there's been a multitude of different folklore creatures that have been told to different generations over time. Today I'm going to go over the two most popular ones that you may know yourself if you're into that sphere of demons and ghouls, emo, and explain to you how these are used to scare kids and just people in general, and why that is mostly effective most of the time. Baba Yaga is a popular witch from Slavic folklore that you may be familiar with yourself. Her common attributes include her carrying some sort of a mop or a stick that she uses to cover her tracks as she travels. She was first mentioned in detail by Alexander Alekseyev in his book The Maiden Tsar, Russian Fairy Tales. His book mentions her living in a hut with a pair of chicken legs underneath it, which she uses to travel around, probably because, well, she's a bit of a hag. Anyway, her most disturbing attribute is her eating children and luring them into her home so she can cook them and have them as a meal, which is probably why she poses as an old woman to lure them in, like a A-class paedophile. The Wendigo is an evil creature originating from America and the parts of Canada too. It is often depicted possessing humans and driving them crazy through various means. Basil H. Johnson gives an account saying the Wendigo was a staunch creature resembling a skeleton that had just come out from the grave, with its bones pushing out of its skin. The most common and disturbing reference to it is its insatiable thirst for human meat. This is how all of its victims who are possessed come to insanity through constant cannibalism. There is a condition called Wendigo psychosis where people are driven to eat human flesh in times of famine and drought. And so, unfortunately for everybody, this condition may not be entirely fiction. Needless to say, this is all pretty horrid, even for adults to swallow. So how is this good for kids? Well, it isn't, and that's how it kind of gets its meaning. When it comes to Baba Yaga, it's a tale that warns kids not to go into the woods, which has a common message behind many medieval horror stories, to not make kids go into the woods. This is because the woods were a dangerous place that had outlaws and many dangerous creatures too. And when talking about the Wendigo, the same message comes up, and its habitat is often described as the deep woodlands, but it also warns us about the dangers of cannibalism and the obsession, greed, and unsatisfied hunger in a terrifying way. So maybe that scary story your dad told you one night was worth all the times you wet the bed, or maybe he's stuck to A Nightmare Before Christmas like my parents did.